Tonight, and Ms. Peterson, our Pledge of Allegiance.
Mr. President, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come and talk about the business of Jackson County School District, Lord. Lord, we're so blessed to have such great staff, teachers, administrators, school bus drivers, Lord. I ask you to continue to watch over them and bless them as you blessed them so many times before. I ask you to be with this meeting, that it be to the glorify of the school district and the needs and meet the needs of our students. And we ask this in your most precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. So, welcome you to tonight's meeting of the Jackson County Board of Education, where we will discuss the business and financial needs of the district. And later on, we will go into executive session to discuss legal and personnel matters. At this time, I will entertain a motion for consent agenda items.
I'd like to make the following motion for consent agenda items. E, 3 through 6. G, 1 through 21. H, 1B, 3A, B, and C. I, 1A, K, 1 through 15, L, 1 through 24, and M, 1 through 19.
Maybe for consent agenda items in the form of a motion, do I have a second? Second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor? 5 minutes. Any motion to approve tonight's agenda? Motion by Ms. Peterson.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? 5-0. Minutes. Jack, are we good on the October 13, 2025?
Yes, and everybody was present.
Everyone's present and can vote. All right, I need a motion to approve the October 13, 2025 meeting minutes. Item 6A. Motion by Mr. Bailey.
Second.
Second by Mr. Howell. All in favor? 5-0. We have acknowledgements, Mr. Baggins.
I would like to acknowledge the Grand Creek Attendance Center. Thought that we had an outstanding board tour today. The schools look beautiful as they always do each and every day. And I get to see them. Unfortunately, y'all only get to see them once a year. But I see it day in and day out. And I could tell you, you can come anytime. And I was telling some of our principals this. I feel comfortable for y'all to come anytime, any day of the year, and you'll see what you saw today. That's just an acclimate of what our teachers, staff, and administrators do for our kids every day. So very proud, obviously, to see the schools. The data reports I thought were outstanding by the principals. And the CTE looked great. Mr. Compton did a good presentation there. And I think it was a great day. And hopefully y'all got to see a little bit of what I get to see every day and why I look forward to coming to work.
If there was, just add on to that, I always look forward to our board tours because we do get to see the administrators and teachers and some of the students even face to face. And it's very evident from the grounds and buildings to classrooms and just like the look on those students' faces that this is a terrific school system, a terrific attendance center. And so, yes, kudos and thanks to the administration for giving an excellent report. Do you have any public comments?
We did have one person, but last minute something came up and they could not make it. So I will follow up with them tomorrow to see if they would rather come next month or if there's something that I can do to address their concerns. So I'll follow up with them myself tomorrow.
Very good. Okay, construction update. Brad,
Short tonight, so I didn't have a report because they're essentially, the only thing we've got going on right now is the East Central Roof project, and they're essentially finished with that. We did our preliminary walk last week, walked with them, pointed out a few things, and we have our next walk, and I'm hoping a final walk scheduled for next week. The manufacturer will be down to walk the roof and do their final warranty acceptance, and they will buttoning up a few loose ends right now, and then obviously waiting on basketball season to end. Had a conference call today, the contractor that's gonna do the flooring repair. So they walked us through what that's gonna look like, gave us some pictures of some similar floors that they've done in the past, so that'll be scheduled once basketball is over with, so. That's all I've got right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, item 7D, approve recommended attendance center boundary line modification beginning in 2026-2027 school year. I have a motion for item 7D.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Howell,
Second.
second by Mr. Bailey. Can you explain a little bit about this, Mr. Bailey?
Sure. Like in the last board meeting I proposed, we've got two different changes we would like to do. The first is for the St. Martin East and St. Martin North boundary line. We're a little bit out of kilter by about 100 students right now, with St. Martin East having more than St. Martin North. And it is a bit confusing, the way the boundaries lines are laid out. So what we are recommending is Washington Avenue all the way up through Tucker. Anything on the west side of Washington Avenue and Tucker will now go to St. Martin North. It's a small area, mainly in Gulf Hills, that this is going to affect. And the other change that we're asking for in this area, there's the first change right there. You can see who it's going to affect. It's not many students. The other change that we're recommending to help move some students over is from the intersection of Old Biloxi and Jim Ramsey. Everything north, moving that group of kids from St. Martin East to St. Martin North. And so we had a call out to all of those that were affected, and we met with those parents and we actually met at St. Martin North, where we laid out the reason why we're recommending this change right now, the number of neighborhoods that are coming on board. They were really wowed and did not realize the volume of houses that are going to be coming in the next 3 years. Answered all of their questions. A lot of it was, well, first thing that I told them was the proposal that if your child is currently at St. Martin East, whether it's kindergarten, first, or second grader, and you want them to finish at St. Martin East, as long as you're willing to provide transportation, that you could continue to go there. So that really made everybody a lot more at ease. But then from there, we went on and told them more about St. Martin North. Miss Melton, the principal, was there, so she answered any questions regarding PTO and activities and different things. So all of their questions were really answered. And then at the end, Miss Melton took all of them, anybody that wanted to, but they all decided they wanted to go. She took them on the tour of the school. It was a really good meeting, and I thought it ended really well. So the other proposal that we're going to be recommending is going to be the attendance center boundary with Van Cleve and St. Martin. Again, led with the presentation of how many neighborhoods are coming and where they're going to be located and what precipitated this recommendation of the move. So we're recommending from Joe Bat all the way to the west and everything to the north that's currently in the St. Martin area, which is what we're looking for right here, this square in LaRue. It's only going to affect a handful of students for next year, but like I explained to them, when Ramsey Springs starts building out here this month or next month, it's going to grow over the next couple of years, upward of 1,400 houses that it could possibly impact. And that's why we were making the recommendation. There was one parent that had a concern whose child was an 8th grader who's going to be a 9th grader next year. And that's why I hate that he could not be here tonight, because I invited him, hey, this is not final yet. You need to come and speak before the board. And that's why he was coming. So I will follow up with him tomorrow. And if he wants to come at a later meeting and speak, he still can. But there's perhaps something that we could do. And I'll speak to the board in executive session because it has to do with students. About what we could possibly do for this situation.
So I was just going to ask you, when you talked to us in October, you mentioned that they could potentially remain at that school for 1 year. But then just a second ago, it sounded like
No.
they could stay there until they exited that school.
That's correct, and that's what I said in the last meeting.
Okay,
If
I
I
misunderstood.
I misspoke if I
No,
said
no,
that,
no,
I'd have to
probably
check, yeah.
misunderstood.
So yes,
Okay.
same thing we're doing with, at the elementary level, it would be at the attendance center level. So if your child is in 6th grade and wants to finish at St. Martin Middle School, they can go for 7th and 8th grade, but then after that, they would need to go over to the high school. If your child's gonna be in 10th grade, was a 9th grader this year at St. Martin High School, and we did have one who was actually a junior this year, and their child would be a senior next year, and they asked, would we be able to finish in St. Martin if we transport? Absolutely. So the one parent was upset because his daughter is an 8th grader and was gonna be a 9th grader next year. So, I told him at present, I couldn't, as a superintendent, do that, but that was not to say that something couldn't be done in the future. I'm having to talk to the board first.
So just so I heard you correctly, if the student is, say, in the 6th or 7th grade at St. Martin Middle School.
Correct.
Once they completed their term in the middle school, they could continue to go on to the St. Martin High School.
No, they would, under my proposal,
They can only finish the school that they're.
They can only finish
That's
the
right.
school that they're
Yes.
currently at.
Yes,
but
provided their own
yeah,
transportation.
but this is a situation, this is really a few students that we are dealing with that are gonna be affected, so, any parent at any time can come before the board and speak and petition y'all and speak and share concerns, and y'all can take it upon yourselves if you so feel like I should do so. I can make exceptions, and this is not something that is happening every year. I can't remember the last time the boundary lines were changed in this school district. So, I think we should take it one situation at a time.
Yeah, I just wanted that
Yes, sir.
clarified, in public and open, so.
And I did, I explained this to them in the meeting as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it went well. We had about 13 people sign in at each one of the meetings. Very cordial, asked good questions, and we're really, like we are, concerned about their students and their communities. And even Senator Seymour, actually, I invited him to come, and he came to the meeting in LaRue. And afterwards, he said, I thought it was a great meeting, it was very informative, and everybody got a chance to have all their questions answered, so.
And this, even though it's the first time that it's been brought into the public, prior to this year, there was a discussion with the previous superintendent to redraw lines in several of the school board meetings. So this has been an area that's been looked at for years.
Yeah, I know that certainly the population in St. Martin has been a concern, and between the different schools within St. Martin is another concern about how that's sliced up. I've heard it always said that, Van Cleve has kind of been viewed as a safety valve for the overflow that St. Martin has, and I guess this is what we're trying to do to address it.
Well, it's not just that, I think that, St. Martin is a 7A right now, and if it continues to track and grow the way that it has been, it's gonna come to a point where the population at St. Martin is gonna be bigger than Van Cleve and East Central put together. I just don't think that's a healthy thing for the district, honestly. It's a very large school, it's a great school, but it's a very large school, and if we could prevent from growing it to 1,800 students at a high school, I think that's much easier to manage. As being a former high school principal that had a school that size, they're not easy to manage when you get, 1,700 plus students at a school. So, that's my recommendation.
Any other questions or discussion? Are you ready to vote?
Ready to vote?
Okay, all in favor?
So if we, hold on a second, if we vote, then we will hear the parent's exception, that they would have to apply for an exception,
They could come and speak, yes, ma'am.
or, I guess I'm somewhat confused.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Like if we could make a different decision on how we handle all the students as a whole and not have to hear them one at a time, or,
well, let me ask you this then. Since we're talking so few students, would you rather see it as long as they're willing to provide their own transportation? If they want to finish at that attendance center? I mean, because right now we're talking about 8 students max.
Right.
I mean,
Well, and
I
that's
don't
what I
have a
was
problem with
thinking
that.
was, I mean, as long as they provide their own transportation, if they wanted to finish all the way through 12th grade, even if they were in kindergarten, it being so few students.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, we're
Because we're
talking a
looking
handful.
really for
Sure,
a few years ahead, the new.
that's right. Well, those would not be
Those will
grandfathered in
be
like this.
grandfathered, Right.
If y'all give me the authority to do that, I can make that happen easily. It's not gonna affect our transportation, and honestly, it wouldn't really need to become a conversation unless they're providing their own transportation, and maybe we have a chronic absenteeism problem or something like
Right.
that, and they're not on the bus. That would be a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem at all if y'all are okay with it. I just don't wanna, step over the board's boundaries in this
No,
regard and
that's
take it
what I
upon
was
myself.
thinking.
I think the only other scenario you may want to consider, and it may fall right into this, is someone that currently lives in the St. Martin Attendance Center, but does not live in that particular area and moves out there.
And I didn't.
No, if they move later,
I just, that
Right.
could happen, because there's a lot
Right.
of development going on out in that area.
right.
We're only talking about St. Attendance Center.
No, you have to live there when we move the boundaries.
That's right. That boundary that we're moving right now, if you fall into that right now, you can finish out in St. Martin. We're talking, again, just a handful of kids here,
Right.
so I don't think that will be a problem at all.
Yeah.
And I can personally call, because both groups asked that we do a call out or let them know what the board decided to do. So I told them regardless, they're gonna hear from me. So I can call and let those parents know then, hey, we have changed it a little bit, and this is what we've agreed to if you do want to finish off in your attendance center.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart move.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think it's a good compromise.
That's the best compromise, I think.
I agree.
It does, it accomplishes what we want to do with the future population.
That's right.
Move, and for the existing students that are there, if they want to finish out at,
Their
all the way
attendance
through to graduated, that's it. And that family is able to provide transportation for those students, and they're welcome to do so.
Yep.
Otherwise, because we can't afford to send buses all.
Right.
And we will make this will be in the minutes, obviously, we'll also make a record of who these students are, so it's documented for future administrators, so there's not confusion, any of that. Because Monty and I have had to deal with some confusing things this year from stuff in the past, so we'll have it clear and clearly laid out.
Okay,
Yep.
that sounds good.
Okay, we ready to vote again then? All in favor? 5-0. Okay, this is to financial management, item E1, October 25, monthly financial reports. Any questions on those October reports? None? Moving along. Item 7E2, approved purchase of a district vehicle for use by administration. Do I have a motion for item 7E2?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey,
Second.
second by Ms. Peterson. Discussion on this.
So administration, district office administration?
It would be for me.
It would be for you?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's better investment to pay what we pay me in mileage toward a district vehicle rather than coming to me. If y'all aren't comfortable with it, I'll keep driving my vehicle, but I think, and Amber would agree, it's just money well spent to put it in a district vehicle. That's gonna be part of the district. But like I said, I'm good with it either way.
Anything else? Any questions? Ready to vote? Okay, all in favor? 5-0. Just make sure it's not a Corvette.
No, sir.
No sports cars. Okay,
Ian has a Charger.
all right, item 7E7, approve the prepaid claims docket. Do I have a motion for item E7?
Motion.
Mr. Smith.
Second.
Second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor? 5-0. And item E8, approve the open claims docket. Motion for E8. Motion by Mr. Howell. Second. Mr. Bailey. All in favor? 5-0. And that takes us to human resources. Item F2, approve the November 2025 personnel changes. A motion for item F2.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smith. Discussion on this item.
So I had a couple of questions. Bear with me as I roll this up so I can read it. I noticed we were changing some Title I positions to district positions. And I was just wondering why. So.
Which one specifically?
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Give me a second.
Okay.
It's at St. Martin Upper. Change in funding from Title I to district. It's like 4 assistant teacher positions. And on the same docket, we are cutting positions at other schools due to lack of fund, or no.
Well, I can speak to St. Martin Upper specifically. So he is running out of federal funding for his assistants there. Because of his growth, he had another teacher unit that he had not filled yet. And when he was getting ready to lose these 4 assistants, I asked him, do you still want that teacher unit, or would you rather keep your assistants? He said, I need those assistants as interventionists more than I need that teacher unit. So I said, okay. So in lieu of doing another teacher unit, because his numbers would allocate him another one, he said he needed those assistants more than that teacher unit.
Okay, so on funding, talking ahead, I looked at the reports. He shows that he has a balance still in his Title I. May not cover all of them, I don't know, but.
That's right.
So I just didn't quite understand why we're cutting assistants at one school and yet we're converting others to district at another school.
It's not just at that school we're having to cut some assistants out. The federal, we did not get the funding that we were supposed to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kim. And so they did not allocate the amount that they said that they were going to. We are now going to be short. We're going to be able to keep them on to a certain point of time, but when their funding runs out, we can't continue to keep them.
So what will we do if we get to February and then he decides he wants a teacher unit?
That's not part of the deal.
You don't give that.
Yep, that's not part of the deal.
That's easy to say, but it's easy to forget.
Yep.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we document that well enough, like even next year, numbers continue to be the same or a little higher.
And I'm gonna bring up admin, because we've had, I brought up that we've got a couple of schools that should have had a loss in admin, but keep their admin,
Oh,
so.
you can ask Ms. Glass, we've all been talking about that the last month and a half. And we know that that's coming. We've been looking at the numbers, because I've also been asking, what are surrounding districts doing in comparison to us? So, yep, that's something that I promised you we're gonna revisit, and we're going to.
Well, that's what I don't want to happen here.
Sure, I
I
understand.
don't want us to have allocated 4 assistant teacher positions, because trust me, I bet if you put all of the upper elementary principals in this room, they would arm wrestle you for those 4 assistant positions. You know, you just gotta be real careful.
I understand exactly where you're going with this, yes. And I can promise you, when we start the year, we issue teacher units based on allocations of how many students you have in your schools.
I get that, but
Yep.
are we gonna forget that we gave them 4 assistants?
We are not. It's documented. I can promise you, she will not let me. But we've already had these meetings with them.
And actually, we didn't give them 4 assistants. They already had 4 assistants built into their FY '25 allocation. What we were doing was trying to make sure that with the shortfalls that have come in FY '26, that we had enough money that would carry us out through the remainder of the year. So the 4 that were there were already built in last year at the very end for carryover.
With
Okay.
different funding.
With Title I funding. Now, when we received our 15% deficit in FY '26, in October of this year, it was discovered very clearly that there was not enough money to cover that shortfall or to cover their salaries and benefits for the remainder of the year. So that's when Mr. Baggett and I went out to the school, or to that particular school, and had to have a very tough conversation.
Yeah, so see, the way I see it is that when the funding changes, it now becomes an ongoing expenditure for the district. That's not being allowed or offered to the other schools. Now, albeit he had an opportunity to have a teacher position, which I get that the more bodies you have, the more children you might could impact, but certified, non-certified, I'd had a hard time making that decision. You know, I get it was a tough call, but we're cutting a Title I position for lack of funding. We're converting 4 others to district. I just wanted to make
It's
sure
just for the
that.
remainder of this year.
I think the biggest
Yeah, well,
issue
they're not
with
gonna
it,
be
Ms.
back.
Peterson, was the timing
Yep.
when we found out. Been very difficult for him to find that teacher unit at that time of the year.
But these 4 people are still going to be invited back next year.
Not
No, ma'am.
necessarily.
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily.
No, ma'am.
No.
Well,
And to be honest with you, the way that federal funding is looking right now, in the past, we've had enough carryover that we could at least invite people back. I'm afraid that we're gonna have to send letters to every one of our federally hired money employees and let them know funding is not there, and at this time, we cannot offer you a position next year.
yeah, and that's not been uncommon, even when I was administrator.
Yeah.
Our people knew that
Yep.
it was dependent upon that.
Yep,
But when you convert somebody to district, you're pretty much saying that position is an approved district position, and we're authorizing that position to continue
no ma'am.
until
These-
it comes back to the board.
These are non-certified positions.
I get it.
We can cancel these right now then if y'all want to tonight. I mean,
No,
that's not a problem.
I just didn't know why we were losing slots at one school and converting others at another school.
So we, at other schools, we've worked with the administration at each school that was losing federal funding and given them options of things that they can do and let the principal make the decision of what is best gonna impact their students by keeping which staff. That's what Kim and I did with every one of the principals that lost federal funding. We went and met with each principal individual, laid options out, and let them make the decision on what to repair, what they thought would best help their kids and their staff.
Okay, I mean, that's all my question.
But I can promise you, we're not bloating units, because Amber will not let me
Well, I
do
just
it.
don't want it to turn in the same situation that the admin is, where we've had admin at schools for multiple years, and they didn't have the numbers to support it. And it doesn't look good on us as the board to not have monitored that.
Great questions.
Okay, any further discussion? Ready to vote? All in favor? Aye. Several policies on present tonight under G, items 22 through 34. Any questions or comments on these policies that are being presented? None? Okay, moving on. Under curriculum and instruction, item H1A, the Jackson County School District Student and Teacher Calendars are presented. Any questions about the student teacher calendar?
Yeah, so I looked at the calendar, the 27th is highlighted as a teacher work day, May 27th. Is that the last teacher work day?
That is.
We don't have 2 days, just
That's
that one
correct.
day?
They would rather have it front-loaded. This came from the teachers at the beginning of the year, and that they only needed one at the end, so.
Yeah, okay.
That was another option that we looked at, but this was overwhelmingly the one selected by all schools. And perhaps next year, it's been other districts are now sometimes doing 2 years at a time. We almost know our schedule now because we're doing it so consistent. So next year, we may bring you a schedule that shows 2 years. We've just had parents request that, so when they're doing cruises and everything, that's right. So that may be something we do for next year. But this is earlier this year than it has been in the past, so.
We can always do that and then add a little asterisk,
That's right.
subject to change
Correct.
as the board sees fit. Good. Takes us to student services federal programs, and the ATI school reports, or nobody's here to discuss.
No, sir, that's just FYI.
Okay, all right. Item H3E, approve the FY '26 Title I, II, and IV and cost pool funding and planning applications. Do I have a motion for item H3E?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson. Second by Mr. Howell. Any discussion?
I love you. Okay.
You need me to stand?
So pretty. So I think you and Chris did this to me, so I opened it up, and it's this way. So I turned my computer, and when I did, it shot that way. Yeah. So I just couldn't read it. So tell me kind of what it is.
All right, so it is the standard budget minus the 15% deficit in Title I. Title II also had a 15% cut. Title IV, we looked at a 15% cut.
Title IV is.
That is your safe, healthy school, safe, healthy school, well-rounded. And then there is also technical, building up your technical infrastructure. Title II is your PD, your professional development, your curriculum specialist, your ed techs.
And Title I, of course, is federal funding through the schools and all.
That's right. That's right. So when we look at what we carried over in FY '25, it was our goal to continue that funding throughout the remainder of this year. We did, as you all saw in the personnel, that we ran into some hiccups. We ran into some brick walls, but we're just grateful that the loss was not as significant as it could have been. We are, I'm gonna say less is best.
Yes.
Yes.
Getting leaner and meaner.
That's right, so, it is, we are still going to be able to pay the dual credit fees. We're still gonna be able to pay the AP fees for our students. We actually increased that, funding to, in Title IV to almost 46,000. And so that's significant. So all of our high schools now are taking advantage of making sure that their free and reduced lunch students have access to AP course fees as well as dual credit course fees to support the student. So I'm excited about that. We are going to continue our mental health services and just to keep teachers.
So we're pooling the money. So I don't recall this being done before, unless I just missed it.
Yeah.
Combining the monies, so we're combining the monies just to, what are we doing this proposal for?
Oh, this is an every year application. When you say combining the monies.
Yeah, because it says,
That's the
Consolidated
term.
application.
Yes, that's the term that they use. They call it the it's either CFPA or, but it's the spelled out term, acronym for that particular application. But it is a consolidation of all of those fundings, Title I, Title II. If we had Title III, it would be Title III, Title IV. These are your non-competitive grants. Now, our Title V, if we were to compete, that would be a different grant, and it would not be a part of that consolidated grant pool.
But this is an annual one that we do every year.
It is, I wrote it all the way out.
Don't do that again.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I will do better. That's it? Okay. That's it? Yes.
Any further discussion on this item? Okay, ready to vote? All right, all in favor? Thank you, Ms. Williams. F and G are highlights, that takes us to it takes us to operations and support. Item I-1B, approved contract to allow Chado Patano Design to design classroom expansions at ECUE, St. Martin Upper Elementary, and Van Cleve Upper Elementary. Do I have a motion for item I-1B?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey,
Second.
second by Mr. Howell. Any discussion on this item?
Now, in approving this, is this also approving
The
the
exact, how
floor
it's,
plans?
no.
Okay,
This allows him to get a contract to start really getting into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
All of that will be approved by us and the board prior to putting it out to bid.
okay,
But this tells Brad, yes, we do want to move forward with this project, go forth and start designing. That's all we're doing. No, we'll bring everything back to y'all to make sure the design is where we need it to be.
And if we want to move forward, if y'all want to move forward, just, we need to start get him started on it, so he can start go drawing up, do the, revisions and all that stuff, and we're gonna make the timeline that.
We're gonna try to have this up for the opening of the school year.
The 26-27 school year, right?
That's tight.
27, 28.
27,
It's not gonna be ready in August.
that's it, wait, I don't want to
Yeah, no,
stop.
no, that,
Ideally, we'd like to.
To get to 27.
Yeah, ideally, if we could, if it all works out, we could start construction at the end of this year, March, April, and give us a year to get it all done, so.
that's right.
Have,
So we're not last minute scrambling to get everybody moved in and ready to go.
I feel comfortable with about a month, 2 months, but. To have time to make the transition, but.
So how many additional classrooms does it bring to?
Let's see here, 18 plus 10, plus another 8, plus if we do multi-purpose buildings as well, so that's, 28 plus,
38.
38, yeah. And again, depending on how the bid comes back, the board may choose, because I would do it as an alternate, the multi-purpose buildings at the lower elementary. If it comes back and we like the number, then we can choose to do that. And that's why I had it tiered out the way that I did. Classrooms primary, then multi-purpose buildings at the upper elementaries, and then the third would be the multi-purpose buildings at the lowers.
If the bid comes back.
If the bid comes back, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Yep. And we'll have that laid out before we go to bid. So, absolutely. But this just is giving Brad assurance that we do want to move forward with this. We're authorizing him a contract that we signed with him.
And we feel that this is the way to go over any other possibilities.
I think this is gonna address the needs, especially at the elementary right now. Like I've said earlier, middle schools and high schools can swell a lot easier. This does not lock us in financially, far from it. You know, the numbers that we're looking to come back with, we still have plenty of money in fund balance. And then we still have a 3 mil note opportunity if we need to expand it, as well as if we think we need it, to go for a bond. So I feel comfortable that if in the next 2 or 3 years, something were to come up and we need to add classrooms, either in middle school or high school here in Van Cleve, there's gonna be plenty of money to do so.
I think this does leave our options open to
Yes.
do even more if we needed to.
Yes,
So later to put.
yes, ma'am. I would not paint
Yeah.
another board or administration 5 years down the line in a corner where they couldn't do anything. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I did that.
Because, we're looking at some of our buildings being 60, 70 years old. And at some point, we probably need to seriously think about what would we do.
I think in that circumstance, when you're talking about totally building a school, that's where you start talking about a bond. That's,
Yeah, so I looked, Purvis and Summerall, they just recently passed a bond
They did?
for new high schools.
They did?
And they're looking to build them at 30 mil apiece. And they're about the same size as Van Cleve.
about right.
They went for 44.
I was gonna say, Brad can tell you the exacts on it, so, yep.
Another 900 student, 700, 900 student high school.
Did they build gyms as well?
They built,
They did.
gyms.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Gym,
There's some other things you can do to try to avoid some costs.
parking, these were undisturbed,
Yeah.
wooded sites.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
There was no
big
athletics there.
undertaking.
No athletics, but it was, four grades.
Yeah.
So the football field is gonna remain at Purvis where it is, and
Yes,
they're just gonna build around it on the other side, or?
No, so they'll travel to the stadium.
Oh, okay.
Or what Bankley does.
I just didn't want us to get into a position where we couldn't maybe discuss it later if we needed to, you know.
This option also leaves us money to do some of the special projects that we talked about, maybe possibly doing some paving or some.
Yeah, we're not even talking about touching construction money, because I was talking to Chris and we were all meeting about this, and they said, no, we don't even need to talk about that money. That money is set aside to continue to do infrastructure and special projects along the way, so we're not even talking about touching that. The $4 million that I'm talking about in the 16th section interest is money sitting there for stuff just like this, one-time projects. We've built up a healthy fund balance. So if we had to go to a 5 or 6 million, Amber wouldn't even blink an eye. She said she felt very comfortable with that, so. Yep. And not to mention, I will say this. We'll have another evaluation coming on board, and if it keeps going up the way that it has, our 3 mil is gonna continue to bring more money in each time we're reevaluated, so. We're in good shape financially if we need to access money again in the future.
Good, Ms. Anger? All start the discussion? Big discussion.
Good discussion then. Are we ready to vote on that? Yep. All right, all in favor? All right.
Thank you.
This is good drawing.
Time to get to work.
Not 44 million dollars.
No.
Thank you, Brad.
Just 4 million. Okay, well, I'll take that. We'll look for it.
Section basis. Item J2, approve cancellation of William Reed lease. Do I have a motion for item J2?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson,
Second.
second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Item J3, approve lease agreement with Jones Physical Therapy SL 60620. Do I have a motion for J3?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Peterson,
Second.
second by Mr. Howell. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Item J4, approve cancellation of David Holbert lease. Do I have a motion for J4?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey,
Second.
second by Mr. Howell. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. And item J5, approve lease agreement with TK&G LLC SL 6760. Do I have a motion for J5?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Peterson. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Takes us to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey,
Second.
second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor? 5-0. Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Couple of things in the planning commission minutes. The first one, the Admiral Landing Phase 1 has been the acceptance of the maintenance and performance bond, so it looks like you're getting ready to start building. That's going to be started out with 73 houses out there off of Old Fort Bayou in St. Martin. Also, the Serene at St. Martin, the acceptance of the maintenance and performance bonds on Serene. So they're about to start 144 townhomes there in St. Martin off of Rose Farm. The other one that jumped out at me, Ramsey Farms, Phase 1. Final plat, they're about to start with 157 homes on Joe Bat and Jim Ramsey over there. We've got two little minor subdivisions. First one is just a 3-parcel, single-family home It's off Silver Fox Lane in Van Cleve. And then the other one is just a 2-parcel for future residential homes off of J. David Ross off in Compass Bluff area. So nothing that we weren't expecting, but it continues to come, no doubt about it. Looking at the attendance for this month, our student attendance, we're going to start at the high school this time. And it looks like that St. Martin High School for students had the highest attendance this month with 92.35. The middle school went to Van Cleve Middle School with 94.09. The upper elementary was East Central Upper Elementary. So we got a little bit of each attendance center this month. They were at 94.44. And then the lower and the overall winner for this month is St. Martin East Elementary with 95.28. So pretty strong October. That's what we like to see right there. Looking at our teacher attendance, for the high school, we had a tie this month between St. Martin High School and Van Cleve High School. They both were at 96% for the teachers. For the middle school, it was Van Cleve Middle School at 96%. For the upper elementary, it was East Central Upper Elementary with 99%. And the lower elementary this month for the teachers was St. Martin East Elementary. So East Central Upper this month pulled it out with 99%, which is fantastic, especially considering the amount of, I call it the head crud that's been going around right now. I fought a bout of it about 2 weeks ago. It's just awful. It just nags at you enough just to make you miserable. You can work, but you're just miserable. You saw we've got our drug. We haven't gotten our drug testing in yet for October, but we've got the other results on there. And we'll get those hopefully for you next month. It just lags behind from when we test, when Karen finally gets the latest results. And we'll try to get them to you as quickly as we can. And that wraps up my report for this evening. Would recommend executive session for property, and I don't have anything for student matters anymore because we've already discussed the boundary realignment and what we will do for those students that can be grandfathered in. So just property is the only thing I have executive for.
I need a motion to go into closed session. Motion by Ms. Bailey, second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? We're in closed session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Let me just